Welcome back. I am Slim the Kid. Thank you for tuning in to another new episode of Round 2 Wrestling. This is podcast number 8 of Round 2 Wrestling, and we are broadcasting to you live here on February 22nd in the year 2022. We've got quite a bit of information to go over, so bear with me as I give you all these facts. We are starting off Round 2 Wrestling how we usually do, and that is with our rumors section. According to PWInsider.com, WWE is planning a stadium series in the United Kingdom over Labor Day weekend. No details have been released. However, WWE has not held a stadium series in England since SummerSlam 92. SummerSlam 92 was incredibly popular and goes down as one of the best SummerSlams in its entirety in WWE history. That is not to say that WWE hasn't had a footprint over in the United Kingdom. NXT UK has obviously been there, and they have held a pay-per-view or house show or two over the years. But this is the first time that they are seriously contemplating maybe booking Wembley Stadium again, and maybe doing a supercard series instead of just one night of fights. It'll be 2, maybe even 3, but only time will tell. Stay tuned to WWE for more news. According to PWInsider.com, both Bayley and Asuka to return to WWE within the next 90 days. Both have been on injured reserve since summer of 2021. So this is only good news for the WWE and particularly the WWE Women's Division. This past weekend was the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view in Saudi Arabia that saw the Men's Elimination Chamber and the Women's Elimination Chamber. Lita was well received, so getting these two big superstars back into the roster would be a huge boost for WWE. Once again, keep your eyes tuned. According to Wrestling Observer newsletter, 3 former WWE stars are likely to debut on AEW TV soon. The names being kicked around: Jeff Hardy, Shane Strickland, and Buddy Matthews. At the time of this broadcast, one is almost a guarantee, and that is the latter in Buddy Matthews. Jeff Hardy is also almost a guarantee, but that is yet to be seen. We all know Jeff's behavior and Jeff's actions in the past have gotten him out of some incredibly promising situations. But with him being older and his brother already being a part of said company, it may be easier to convince him to behave himself long enough to get himself back into that conversation, back onto TV, and reunited with his brother Matt. Rounding out our rumors section, per PW Insider, Brock Lesnar went off script at the Elimination Chamber, breaking his pod in order to enter the match early. I personally watched this match. If you were watching it, it didn't look like it was something off script, yet at the same time, you could see that there was something amiss and bothersome about the whole thing, especially when you don't break the glass on the first punch. Why he went off script is yet to be seen or heard. There's probably nothing really to it, and people are reading into this more than they probably should, but at the same time, it's pro wrestling. Anything can happen, and any reason for anything can and will be a reason. Alright, that concludes our rumors section of Round 2 Wrestling. We will now take a step over to the news portion of Round 2 Wrestling. Former AEW champion Kenny Omega still awaiting umbilical hernia surgery, not returning in February like he originally planned. He also stated in a recent podcast interview that even after he has the surgery, he cannot return to action for a minimum of 6 to 8 weeks. This is good news, bad news for AEW. AEW could desperately use Kenny Omega. His presence alone made things much easier, but at the same time, the storylines that are evolving without him only make his return that much better and that much more important for cliques like the Elite, Adam Cole, the Young Bucks, and things like that. So hopefully he gets the necessary surgery that he needs to get back into active competition. Along these notes, he is still suffering from bouts of vertigo. For those of you who don't know, he suffered vertigo or started to suffer from vertigo due to a head injury that he received while performing with New Japan Pro Wrestling. And in fact, there's a clip online on YouTube where you can see the exact moment where the vertigo started to take place. It was a bad spot. He took a drop kick to the face, which really wasn't that big of a deal, but the landing of his opponent with his knee on his head is what caused Omega and his vertigo issues. So we can only hope that these things, as well as the surgery, are done quicker and safely to get Kenny back into the ring sooner rather than later. CM Punk was named the final member of the inaugural Ring of Honor Hall of Fame. He will join fellow Ring of Honor members, the Briscoe brothers and Brian Danielson, as the inaugural class. Congratulations to AEW CM Punk. Ring of Honor, again, just like Samoa Joe, just like Brian Danielson, is really where he cut his teeth, made a name for himself, and really got on everybody's radar, WWE, and he was able to make a go of things after that. So once again, congratulations. This is a wonderful class from Ring of Honor, and hopefully their next bout of inductees into their Hall of Fame are just as good, if not better, than this first class. On Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer reported that the massive news Tony Khan will be announcing is more than likely a business deal and not a free agent signing. Is Ring of Honor really an independent faction, or has Tony Khan and AEW bought said promotion? Only time will tell. All right, the second half of Round 2 Wrestling is coming at you, and we have a lot to go over, so we will try to get this to you in a timely fashion. This is the results portion of Round 2 Wrestling. A lot happened in the past week, so let me dive into that. AAA Mega Champion Hijo del Vikingo defeated Johnny Superstar at AAA Rey de Reyes in Veracruz, Mexico this past week. Impact pay-per-view also took place this weekend. It was called No Surrender. No Surrender saw 5 title matches, and all 5 champions retained their titles at said pay-per-view. A very good pay-per-view. If you have any way to go back and watch this on Fight TV or any other provider that gives you pro wrestling pay-per-views, I would highly recommend going back and watching Impact Wrestling's No Surrender pay-per-view. At New Japan Pro Wrestling's New Year's Golden Series, several new champions were crowned. And please bear with me while I pronounce these names. They are Japanese, and I am not fluent in said language at all. I may slaughter a name here or there, and again, I apologize. The new champions crowned were Ryusuke Taguchi and Master Wato, who won the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag titles. Sanada defeated Hiroshi Tanahashi to win the IWGP US Heavyweight Championship at said New Japan New Year's Golden Series. Bianca Belair won the Women's Elimination Chamber this past weekend and will face Raw champion Becky Lynch at the upcoming WrestleMania. Brock Lesnar wins the Men's Elimination Chamber and will face Roman Reigns in a champion versus champion match at WrestleMania 38. Neither one of these particular matches have any specific special stipulations, but WrestleMania is still a month away. They could add anybody or nobody to these matches. They could add a stipulation or no stipulation to these matches. Only time will tell. WrestleMania, again, a 2-night event about a month away. All right, moving on to our match of the week. This match of the week took place nearly 20 years ago to the day. February 23rd, 2002, Ring of Honor's first show. Ring of Honor's first main event, Loki versus Brian Danielson versus Christopher Daniels. Defining moment for what Ring of Honor wanted to be and where it was going. Heavily inspired by New Japan Pro Wrestling Juniors and legends like Chris Jericho, Chris Benoit, and Eddie Guerrero, made this match what it is. Complicated sequences, high-flying acrobatics, and lots of three-person moves make this a defining match for Ring of Honor and independent wrestling in general. A must-watch for any wrestling fan. If you have YouTube, this is available to watch immediately. Please go back and watch this. This kicked off Ring of Honor and made it what it is today. Set the precedent and the bar very high, and Ring of Honor has answered that bell many times. Speaking of bells, we have a ranking system here on Ring of Honor for our match of the week, and it is a bell system. This particular match gets 4.5 bells out of 5. Nearly perfect. Nearly perfect. These were the 3 top, most sought after, highly respected independent wrestlers in the world at the time, coming together for one purpose and one upstart promotion, and made it what it is today. So by all means, go back and watch February 23rd, 2002, Loki versus Brian Danielson versus Christopher Daniels. All right, we will close out Round 2 Wrestling with our Michigan highlight, where we take one promotion or one wrestler born and raised and maybe even trained in the state of Michigan and give them a pedestal for just a few minutes. This week's Michigan highlight, Monty Brown, former NFL linebacker with the Buffalo Bills and played in Super Bowl 28, former NWA, WWE, and TNA wrestler. He was born in Saginaw, Michigan, and attended Ferris State University. Brown played 4 NFL seasons with the Buffalo Bills and New England Patriots. He was trained by Sabu and Dan the Beast Severn here in Michigan, making his in-ring debut in the year 2000. Brown officially retired after a short pro wrestling career, concluding in 2007. He was ranked the PWI Rookie of the Year in 2004 and got as high as number 28 in the PWI 500 in the year 2005. All right, that concludes our broadcast for this evening of Round 2 Wrestling. I am Slim the Kid, and I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to this podcast. Be sure to tune in next Tuesday for our newest episode and catch up on all that is pro wrestling. Thank you, and I look forward to giving you a new episode next week. Round 2 Wrestling is brought to you by Spreaker.com and Slim the Kid.